the revered mother goddess of Egypt, patron goddess of medicine and fertility. Isis is one of the most significant deities in the Egyptian pantheon. An ancient deity who was the queen of heaven and considered to be the source of life and divine motherhood in the Egyptian mythology. Based on the Heliopolis genealogy, she was the daughter of Geb, the earth god, and Nut, the sky goddess. Her siblings were the gods Nephthys, Seth, and Osiris, and she was considered as the mother of the mortuary deity Anubis, and Horus, the falcon god. Isis usually appeared as a woman, sometimes with long wings, wearing a crown in the form of a throne or cow horns, encircling a solar disk, which is the hieroglyphic sign of her name. Although she is often shown in human form, she may also be depicted wholly, or in part as a hawk. From the New Kingdom onward, she has been associated with a loop-shaped device known as the Knot of Isis, which was made of red jasper and likened to Isis's blood, thus came to be seen as the goddess's sacred symbol. It was often used as a funerary amulet that conferred protection on the wearer. Isis has been equally shown holding the sistrum, believed to have originated in Nubia, as well as both a healing wand and the revered Egyptian Ankh, another symbol of life and immortality. Astronomically speaking, Isis is represented in the sky as the star Sirius, known to the Egyptians as Sopdet and to the Greeks as Sothis, depicting her as a snow-white heifer, a serpent, or a queen standing on a crescent moon. When Sopdet rose on the heel of the constellation Orion, so did the Nile River, which renewed the fertility of the land by depositing fresh silt on the ground. Reason why Isis had always been linked with the coming of the inundation that made the harvest possible in the land of Egypt. And because of this particular trait, the Greeks identified the deity with Demeter, the fertility goddess of Greek mythology. Isis was among women credited for inventing agriculture and all manner of useful crafts and institutions known to the early Egyptians. She is said to have introduced marriage customs and had the ability to change into any form she desired. A myriad of magical and literary texts highlight the guile and determination of the goddess Isis. The Great of Magic is an epithet that accounted for the supernatural powers of the Egyptian deity. She could be shown as a nursing cobra and protector of kings. She was cleverer than millions of gods, and a better guardian of Egypt's borders than millions of soldiers. The deity protected the kingdom from its enemies, governed the skies and the plain human world. In other words, the Egyptian goddess Isis is the personification of nature, or the feminine aspect of divinity. In the story known as the True Name of Ra, Isis is able to turn the sun god's own power against him to get whatever she wants. The goddess became immortal by devious means. Since she was something of a trickster, she desired the magic that knowing the secret name of the sun god would bring to herself and probably to her future offspring. In order to reach her purpose, Isis fashioned a serpent from the aged sun god's spittle and had the reptile bite the god. She then offered to heal the ailing deity if he revealed his true name, which he eventually did, therefore conferring immortality upon Isis. There's numerous stories surrounding the goddess, such as the origin of the relationship that bonds her with the jackal god Anubis. The narrative implies that she found the infant Anubis hidden in the reeds by his mother, Nephthys, and despite being an illegitimate child, she decided to raise him as her own. But the most famous myth about the goddess Isis are the cycle of death and resurrection of Osiris, followed by the birth of her son Horus. The story tells of her search after the violent god Seth murdered his brother for the throne. She is responsible twice for restoring Osiris after Seth has thrown his body into the Nile River, and again after Seth has dismembered it. The widowed Isis then wandered the land in her grief. Joining her in her lamentations, Nephthys helped her gathering up the pieces of the slain god, which she reanimated with the precious help of Anubis and used spoken magic to drive away the disturber Seth, protecting her husband's body from his wickedness. Being principally accountable for finding the body of the murdered god and achieving his resurrection, Isis became indispensable in Egyptian funerary beliefs and practices. She was called Mistress of Magic, as she could cure ailments, and could command those who would trouble the dead to cease. She was believed to help the dead entering the afterlife like she did with Osiris. Her function as a goddess was with Nephthys, guardians of the coffin of the deceased, where they appeared as women with long wings or as kites who keep vigil